Yes, because like when we started in 2013-14, like when we were trying to set up these kind of biotech in India, especially because having moved back from Switzerland, so the idea for me is to launch a startup in this biotech sector, and so here at that point of time, I was looking for incubators. So when I was coming back from Europe after 12 years, I was always in a thought that I'll go to India, I'll rent out the space. I do not want to have my own facility, because it's a kind of a model which is has been fairly successful both in Silicon Valley as well as in different places actually, especially for biotech. And since it's also a capital driven actually, capex intensive, so initially nobody wants to take that kind of risk, in just duplicating or triplicating the instruments and equipments. At that point of time, we want to move to Bangalore, and then there were just very few incubators. But now today, there are around 50 incubators offering almost 500 lakh square feet of the space for these young budding entrepreneurs. So certainly yes, to answer your question, having these kind of bio incubators, and these bio incubators has been set up throughout, like it's been scattered in tier 2 tier 3 cities as well, has definitely has been a big boost for entrepreneurs. And that's the reason that why we see these 2,600 startups. And number two, the funding schemes, and also the mentorship. In terms of funding, the government is has launched several schemes, including BIG Spark, now they've even evolved right from the proof of concept even until commercialization. So that also, because typically the biotech the investments from the venture capitalists or angel investors are very scarce, like any other country, because generally they want to be risk averse. However, the government has put in their bit to put in their funding, and not only funding alone, funding the space and as well as the mentorship. This is very interesting. You should, I'm not sure, because apart from IIGP, the India Innovation Growth Program, as you said, here they've also launched Ignite. So this is the program. They choose certain entrepreneurs, and then we get trained in Cambridge, in the Judge Business School, specifically for honing your entrepreneurial skills, your commercialization skills. See, most of us into the biotech space are having scientific backgrounds. Most of them are PhDs or masters, or they would have come back from abroad after building considerable amount of experiences, or it could be very young students that they're also launching their startups. So in that case, we clearly lack skills, we clearly lack mentorship. So that enabling these kind of international programs and national the IIGP, these are definitely has enabled this entrepreneurship. Because as I said, at that point of time, if you look at 6 years, 7 years back, the whole biotech industry was 11 or 12 billion dollars, and now we are at 60-70 billion dollars. And the government of India has set up the ambitious plan of making a biotech alone as a $100 billion industry by 2025. So all these key enablers has fostered this. I would say this is a great honor, especially having recognized by E.T. Rice, and I should say at this point of time where Cellzyme is with the pipeline of innovations targeting the different sectors and thanks to the incredible amount of hard work which has been put in by the team Cellzyme actually, because so most of the times I was going and taking the credit. I think that originally everything goes to them. And thank you very much for E.T. Rice team and the juries, and also the BIRAC, the financial and mentorship support which was offered. See, all these things has helped us actually. In terms of this innovation category, having this kind of recognition would help us to propel further actually. It's just I would say it's a big encouragement. I would say that I'm accepting this with a lot of humility. In terms of team, initially the founding team was 3. Actually now, see, it's very important. I think the team plays a very critical role in shaping up the growth actually. So one, we have to share the passion. So that's extremely important actually, because I've seen the the other stories I've heard that the founding team has been apart, etc. But now, we have grown, now the team size, apart from the founding team, we are the team of around 8 now, actually, like not a very big company though. But then, we were able to retain the talents, actually, typically, because the major problem what we face here is the kind of skills which is required to drive these kind of innovations, like company like ours and other biotech companies who are involved in these kind of technologies. So you have skills available in only in certain pockets. See, there is no dearth of quantity of the people who are available, but then what you're looking for is the people with a very specific skill sets, and this is available only in smaller pockets, at least here, what we encountered in last couple of years, to make these kind of an impactful innovations, or to make these kind of impact. I think on another front there is a need to make the right people with the right skills. That was always a challenge for us. In terms of Cellzyme, we are as I said, it's a biotech startup, and today, as I said, the government of India has an ambitious plan of targeting $100 billion industry by 2025. And in this case, the biotech industry, there are 600 core companies and 2,600 startups in this space. And broadly, the biotech industry itself is divided into biopharma, bioindustrial, bioagri, IT, and bioservices. So we fall on bioindustrial category. And here, even if we look at specifically just enzymes alone, and like us, the people who are involved, the startups and the innovators who are involved in making biocatalysts are very few in India. So some of them are importing, and very, very few of them, we are different from them in a way, because we start from composing the DNA and choosing the right systems to make the product, to make the recombinant enzymes, etc. So we have a perfect leverage here. So when you go to the end client, we can tailor-make the product. Even we can support them during the late validations as well. If something has to be tweaked, it is much easier for us to do that, because everything is made in-house. So in that way, we are quite different from others, players in that particular segment. Yeah. In terms of services, Cellzyme, a very typical, services are very few we are doing right now in terms of services. However, we are doing products that are aligning with the the big pharmas, product lines. Currently we are into antibiotic space, and very recently, we have jumped into antiretroviral space, actually, because the big pharmas wanted these kind of enzymes to be to make this entire sector or entire domain into a green manufacturing base. So into antiretrovirals, antibiotics, and little bit into pharmaceutical intermediates. Especially in the current situation, there is a renewed interest. I don't know, 6 years back, we were with the same product lines. There was not a big interest because they were having alternative sources, which can be imported. But now a lot of backward integration is happening in the pharma. They would like to make raw materials in-house, or they wanted to make in India, and then they would like to use it. So there, that is the sector, especially in the pharmaceutical intermediates, that is where that we are growing, right now. I would say yes, because now recently the government also has set up a policy that where they've given the list of products where around 50% can be made in India using the fermentative route. Of course, we fall on that category. But apart from what is rolled by the government, the industry itself, the pharmaceutical industry itself, not only today, but in last 1 to 2 years, they've started looking for an alternative technologies. See, earlier these kind of products like enzymes were not available, but now, once when they see that apart from this in-house R&D of the pharma itself, there are a lot of startups in this space, they're catering to their requirements. And once we scale that, then there is a big possibility of we getting into into a regular supply of these particular products, especially for starting materials like KSMs and raw materials itself, which are involved in manufacturing a particular drug, because most of them are imported now. At the moment, we are completely focusing on India, you should say, because in one of our enzyme, we are looking at just cephalosporins, this is one of the key product for us, actually. We are making enzymes to make, these cephalosporins, using an enzymatic process. And India is one of the biggest suppliers, actually. There are only 2 companies in India, but they cater to almost 30% of the global market. So the industry itself is huge there. So right now, yes, we are focusing just on the Indian market. Currently, I think, we would like to continue, we have opened up the domain for the intermediates, because, that's the fastest growing segment, as I said, and very recently, we are about to, sign a licensing agreement with one of the big pharma, with which, using our enzyme, they want to make an intermediate that's a key starting material for the, one of the very key drug, which is being exported to the other geographies. So that is one. And apart from that, we are also looking at, having our own manufacturing plant, say the fermentation facility. So we are looking at that, we are trying to, look at the funding source and the place and the, the industrial areas where we could. So those kind of activities which we would like to do. And the third, in terms of products that, so Cellzyme, especially with one of the product, for antibiotic industry, we would like to achieve at least 50% product penetration in the coming financial year. So to be very, very honest, for our kind of products, there is a lot of resistance, in adopting the new technologies, especially, because there has been, these industries, for past 30, 40 years, doing a particular process, particular way of making a drug. And when we go and tell them that, look, you can make it using an enzymatic way. So not everyone wants to have the baby on the lab, because, it's a lot of troublesome. The troubles come from them to, clear the regulatory, especially because, most of our clients whom we talk to are US FDA regulated clients, and then they are supplying to, the regulated markets. So any change in the process needs to be accredited and it has to be amended. And thanks to FDA, because these are all the type 1 regulatory change. And, also the current situation is driving the industries to adopt these new technologies, because, the major reason is it has a huge impact on energy, environmental, regulatory and productivity hurdles. So in that way, yes, we see that, but the challenge is definitely there, the resistance and, to the new kind of products, actually. Yeah. I think, the biotech startups, like any other domain startups, has been strewn with a lot of challenges, especially. And to avoid, the critical pitfalls, I think, having a mentors on board is extremely helpful. And because for us that, we have a kind of scientific, the mentors, who's coming from Germany, Switzerland, as well as in India, we take their help. And in terms of business mentors that, our mentors, we had these connections to these global clean tech innovation programs, and these mentors are extremely critical in driving the scalability of the enterprise. So as I said, most of us are scientists, we are good with ideas, and doing proof of concepts. However, these industrial mentors, the business mentors, I would call them, they're extremely aggressive in pushing us towards the scalability. And I think, it is important, to fail fast and then to, to grow faster that way. Especially the mentors were, for Cellzyme's journey, they were very helpful in avoiding certain, critical pitfalls, and then to figure out the, the ill-fitted, the team, or it could be an ill-fitted investor as well, So those kind of advices, what we got from them is very imperative, for us to drive further. I would say first, don't focus on Me Too products, and then, as an entrepreneur, if you want to get into, it's very normal that you exaggerate the market size, and then, you have to be very careful about that. And please, build the team. The team building requires a lot of skill and then experience that, and I think that is very, very important, having the right team. And then you identify the right product. As I said, if you are identified a product, actually, because that's always as a startup, you will not have a luxury in experimenting a lot of products, so you have to define the products. So it is extremely important, to choose the right product. So this, it will come to you by having a lot of conversation with the industries which you are catering to, have that kind of empathy towards their problem, and then try to solve it. And once you decided the product, and you try to look at who are the competitors offering that product and how you are different from them. And I would say also the regulatory pathway is still evolving, and it has evolved much for a better. And the funding landscape in India is much, much better now, having incubators, and this is the right time. So you can start, and then wish you all the best.